In this lesson titled Using Conditional Formatting, we're in Workbook Lesson 04, Format Data, and we're on the Conditional Formatting Sheet tab. Conditional formatting is one of those tools that can almost instantly add some real visual pizzazz to your data. And that's probably why it's here on the Home tab, right in the middle. So clicking on that, and you may have done so in the past, you'll see it has some rather intriguing things it can do, like highlight data that's greater than, or highlight data that's in the top 10%, or data bars, color scales, and icon sets. Let's take a look at each one of those and see what it can do for us. Let's start over here with some years numbers, right? So let's click on our E column right on the E header. So all of the E column is highlighted. And I'm going to click on Conditional Formatting. And here it says Highlight Cell Rules. Well, what if I want to highlight everything that is greater than 5? Everything greater than 5. So I just click it, and it says right here, format cells that are greater than, and now it kind of took a guess, and it said 8.5, but we just want 5. So I'm going to click 5 here on my keyboard. And now it says, what do you want to highlight it with? Well, red fill with dark red. And it's giving me an example over here, isn't it? I'm going to click that and see, well, do I have some other choices? How about light red fill? I'm just curious what that looks like, and say OK. All right, so let's take a look. Did it work? Anything greater than 5 should be highlighted, right? Very good. Yep, I don't see any 5s that aren't highlighted. Anything greater than 5 is highlighted. It's always important to know how to undo anything you did, so why don't I just tell you that right now. So I can select all of this. If I go to Conditional Formatting, one of my choices is Clear Rules. So did you notice up here that this was called Highlight Cell Rules? So we created a rule that said anything greater than 5, highlight in red. So this is Clear Rules. So what do we want to clear? Well, clear rules from selected cells. And we currently have that selected, so I'll say OK. And all of that just got cleared. Well, let's try some others, shall we? Let's go over here to our names, and we're going to select all of our names, Conditional Formatting, and under Highlight Cell Rules, what about equal to? Highlight all cells equal to. And here, I can put in something like the last name, Frank, F-R-A-N-K, and highlight with yellow fill with dark yellow text and say OK. So now all of our Franks have been highlighted. Now if we add a Frank, it should be highlighted. So I'm really curious what will happen here. Frank. And yep, it recognized it and it's highlighted. Now you might say, well, I could do that with a find and replace, find all the Franks and replace them with Franks with this formatting. But then if you added a new Frank, you wouldn't suddenly have it highlighted like you do here, because this is a rule that's always looking at our data. Let's see what else we can do. How about a number here? Just dealing with some bigger numbers, these salary numbers. Let's go to Conditional Formatting. And let's try another one here, like our top or bottom rules. So we want the top 10%. The top 10%. And there it is. It's done the calculation for us, the top 10%. And we could even choose maybe something more like green, since they're definitely in the green if they're in the top 10%. And now they're highlighted. This is extremely useful, isn't it? Because Excel does all the hard work for you. It made the calculation of the top 10% by analyzing all the data in the salary column. So let's come over here now and choose job rating. So we have, looks like just 1 through 5 is our rating here. But maybe we want to see that more visually. I'm going to click on Conditional Formatting and choose data bars. And data bars are really nice because you only get one choice, and that is choose the color you like. You can have some gradient fills, and it's giving you some instant previews here, and also solid fills. So how about a solid fill blue? We have all of our numbers here, but we also have data bars. So 5 is all the way over because it's our highest number. And then 1, you can see, it's just a little bit over. So depending on the numbers you have, it's just kind of proportional as it looks at all the numbers. This is very useful. So this is kind of interesting. Do you see over here where we also have negative numbers? So anything in parentheses here is a negative number. This is called accounting formatting. If I click in here, you'll see up here in the numeric group it says accounting. And accounting wants to put anything negative here. So what happens if we give data bars to numbers that are also negative? So let's come over here to conditional formatting, and I come over here to data bars and choose blue and select. And it's just kind of interesting. It draws an axis down the middle, and then it shows how much it's positive, or if it's a negative number, how much it's negative compared to the others. So we can see some of the largest positive numbers over here, and going the opposite direction, we can see some of the largest negative numbers. That could be very useful for you. Now let's try some color scales, but to do so, we'll need to get rid of some of the formatting we already have, because when you're dealing with conditional formatting, you don't want probably 2 conditional formats on the same numbers. So why don't we come over here to F and select that. I'm going to go to conditional formatting, and I'm going to come down to clear rules and clear rules from selected cells. Okay, now I'm still selected, so I'm going to go to conditional formatting, and let's go to color scales. Now color scales, all you have to do is select which order you want the colors to go in. Green, yellow, red, red, yellow, green. You see where I'm going with this. Green, white, red. You just choose that scale. I'm going to do this first one, green, yellow, red. And here we have all of our colors. So it did the calculations for us. It said that green was our largest number and red is our smallest number. Now you might notice there's some light greens and almost kind of some oranges. Well, what's happening is each number is getting a unique color. And let me show this another way. I'm just going to right click on any one of these numbers, and I'm going to choose sort, and I'm going to do largest to smallest. Now notice here we have the darkest green, and it slowly goes into lighter green, and then into yellow, and then into red. So because there's a palette of some 16 million colors, you could have 16 million numbers, and each one theoretically could have its own unique number. So color scales is really quite powerful. Let's try clearing again. Let's come over to G, and let's go to conditional formatting and clear rules, clear from selected cells. And now it's already selected, so we can try a few more of these. Let's try icon sets. Now icon sets are relatively new and they're very popular. One that I'm starting to see a lot are what we call traffic lights. So here's traffic lights rimmed, and here's where they're not rimmed. Now notice on the icon sets, sometimes there's 3 and 4 and even 5. So some special algorithms are running to divide these up correctly into groups of 3, 4s, or 5s, depending on, of course, what the numbers you have are. So why don't we try this icon set that's rimmed right here and click OK. Now we'll notice we get these railroad tracks or this kind of air symbol showing us that we can't see the whole number. So I'm just going to double click just to the right of the G column for our best fit feature, and now we can see all these numbers. And so our biggest numbers here, like positive 7,000, and one of our smallest numbers, negative 7,000, is in green, and then the other numbers in between are yellow. And again, this is just based on our highest and lowest number, and then it makes a calculation putting them into 3 different groups. So that's it, conditional formatting. It's pretty nice that everything you need to do is all located right here under conditional formatting. There's only one more thing you need to understand, and that's managing the rules and creating a new rule. So let's start with creating a new rule. to create a new rule, you can actually choose all of the variables you want. So for instance, format all cells based on their value. So you could select that first. Then you select the format style, like 2-color, 3-color, or maybe it's an icon set. Let's do 2-color. And you could pick the color for the lowest value and for the highest value. So this is completely customizable, and you even get a preview. And so when you create a new rule, then that new rule is applied to whatever you currently have selected. So that's an idea of how to create your own custom rules. Get the colors you want. So let's try here on Manage Rules. Manage Rules will show you whatever rule is currently selected. So because all I have is this one cell selected, I'm only seeing one rule, even though there's 1, 2, 3, 4 rules actually happening inside this document. So I'm going to say Close. I'm going to select all of these. I'm going to use my Select All tool, which is up in the top left corner right here under the name box. Select All. Everything's selected. And I'm going to come over here to Conditional Formatting and go to Manage Rules. And now we see all of the rules available. All the rules are here. And I can edit them and I can delete them and just get rid of it completely. And I can also edit them. It's kind of interesting some of the things you can do. You see our icon sets here. So I can select icon sets. And you can also see our job rating with data bars right here, data bars. So what happens if I edit the rule? Well, I get a bunch of great choices. And one of those might be very useful for you, and that's called Show Bars Only. So when we edit a rule, this is one of our options, Show Bars Only, and say OK. And apply. And OK. And what had happened is all of our numbers are gone. All we see are these data bars. And that might be useful, right? We're looking at a job rating, and we can see that Abrams here did considerably better than Sam did over here. So it's just a relationship, and we can no longer see the numbers. Well, let's turn it back on. This is good practice. So we select that rule at least, and we go here to Manage Rules. And there's our data bar that we had selected. Edit Rule. And right here, Show Bars Only. We're going to uncheck that. Say OK and OK. And our numbers are back again. That is conditional formatting. Very powerful. And a few clicks, you can really bring out some visual information.